and welcome to the No Flipping Excuses Show.
Don't touch that
This is the #1 podcast for real estate investing, and each episode covers what you need to know to find and flip deals right now.
Wow!
Break free of the chains that are holding you back and join us on today's episode.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the No Flipping Excuses Show. This is Jason Lucchese, and we are back at it again, my friends, delivering you nothing but the best as far as content for your real estate investing business. Today, I have a friend of mine on, and I'm not going to say, hey, we've been friends for 5-10 years. We actually just met each other not too long ago, and Philip's been doing some really amazing things with assisted living facilities. This is, not a lot of people know about assisted living facilities and what the true potential is. Now, we've had one person on, and that's it. And we've done, 100 plus shows. So out of 100 plus shows, we've only had one expert, now two, talk about assisted living facilities. Everybody wants to talk about, some other great strategy, but lo and behold, this is such a really great money-making strategy that you can really be helping people, and you could also be making a great monthly income as well. So without further ado, I've got Mr. Phillip Vincent with us on today. How are you, Phillip?
Good, Jason. How are you today?
Good, man. I see you got the St. Louis Blues hat on. Are you a big...
Woo! 50. It only took us 50 years to get our first cup, so I have to wear this with pride,
Yes.
I spent a lot of long nights in the 90s of good teams that just never went anywhere. So it was a big year last year.
That was kind of us with the Cubs in 2016.
Oh, yeah.
Took a long time there for anything to happen. So I completely get it, man. So let me ask you this. For folks that don't know you, why don't you share a little bit of your background, how long you've been in the business and what you're doing?
Yeah, Jason, I've been doing real estate for 21 years now. And in 2011, I discovered what I found to be the best lead source that I've ever found. And that was the referral from senior living communities. When you said you had one person on out of the 100 shows, I almost wonder, was that a person that was talking about how much money there is in owning senior living communities?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm excited to tell you. Today that is not what we're talking about at all. I'm a real estate investor. I buy single family homes, and my best lead source is from senior living communities to me. So Jason, let's say you and I were brothers and mom needed to move into senior living. What happens at that exact moment? Oh,
they're probably, trying to take care of mom, but also thinking, what are we going to do with this house? And it's crazy that you mentioned that, because in my book, we talk about that. We talk about the strategy. So I'm glad somebody else is backing this, because I feel like, and I'm sure you feel the same way, like you're the Lone Ranger and you want to try and tell people about this, and there's so many people out there that need help. So I don't want to ruin your thunder. I'll talk about the book at the end.
No, that's great. And by the way, this marriage between senior living and real estate investors, it's like a peanut butter cup. They go so good together. It's all about timing. I can we cuss on your show?
Yes, and I also like talking about peanut butter cups.
I love peanut butter cups, and I hate shitty leads, right? I hate to work these crappy leads that a lot of people are peddling out there. When I work with these families, I'm helping the senior living community to be more profitable. I'm helping the families in their most stressful time of their life, because you're talking about your mom. And I help the investor who isn't looking for the perfect lead. To me, a perfect lead has two things. It's massive motivation. Yep. And 100% equity, right?
Yep.
And like you said, the concern is mom's care. I'm glad you said that. That's exactly the number one concern is mom's care. But then you meet with the finance director, and he tells you that the place you picked out for mom is $9,300 a month. And you're like, shit, mom doesn't have that much money. So immediately it goes to the house and the stuff. So I've been doing this since 2011, and I've been keeping this a secret since 2011 because I didn't want anybody else to fish in my pond, because they're that good of leads. And so now, with me building out a nationwide network of lead sources in the senior living industry, now I have to work with the best of the best in every city. And so my goal is to find people that have integrity and give a crap about people. I consider this mom's house project that I'm doing as the anti-iBuyer. You know, everybody's iBuyer. We're the anti-iBuyer because there's so much other stuff that goes into it, from the hand holding to the logistics of the stuff, working with Medicaid, working with private pay. And so I consider myself an expert in this space because I've been doing it since 2011 with really great success.
No, that's awesome, man. And, you know, I'll definitely probably be able to learn a few things from you on this episode. I haven't been doing it nearly as long. Now, we've been in the probates and trusts and wills and all that kind of stuff when somebody's already gone.
Yeah.
But what we've really liked about this is, maybe mom needs some help. Dad just passed away. And now mom's like, hey, I don't need this big house. I'd rather go live at a senior living facility. And now, it's like you said, because my mother-in-law was in a facility and she had to go into memory care. And that was, you know, mid $4,000 every single month. So these places are expensive. And, you know, one of the properties, a realtor kind of brought this up to me. He was like, hey, I'm working with the elder care advisors at these senior living facilities.
Yep.
And they give me leads and I don't know what to do with them.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. He has no idea what to do with them. So he calls me because I'm a board member for our RIA here. And he's like, hey, since you're on the board, can we have lunch? And he starts talking to me about this like a few years ago. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take a look at some of these. And all of them, like this one house he showed me, mom just collected everything.
Aggressive collectors.
Like those little pathways because she was such a hoarder. And most people are going to look at that and they're like, I don't want that. But as an investor, we look at it completely different. So
it smells like money in that room. Yeah,
exactly. And you know this, they need that house to sell so they can stay in the facility.
And I love that you brought up realtors. So a realtor is not the solution to that community's problem. If they're not the solution to that family's problem, we as investors are the solution, because why do we need to pay the commissions? I have a license, so I can say this. Realtors are not needed in this. And so the problem with realtors is, even on a perfect day, you've punted that family's access to money 6 months down the road in a perfect setting, because every realtor comes in and the first thing they say is, hey, clean out this 50 years of stuff, then do these updates before I put my precious name on it and on the listing. And, you know, 2 months to clean it out, 2 months if you're lucky to rehab it, 2 months, 30 days on the market and 30 days to close. This family hasn't touched their money, hasn't gotten their equity out in 6 months, and it's a giant burden. When investors, what can we do? We can close in 10 days, right? We can buy it as is. Take your heirlooms out of there, and we'll take the rest. And so you provide yourself as a solution for the family and the senior living community, and it's peanut butter cups.
I love that. So let me ask you this: how did you stumble upon this in 2011? Like, how did this happen?
I'm a curious guy that knows that if you're in the real estate business, you're actually in the marketing business. So what worked in 2011 doesn't, it's ever changing, right? And me always wanting to be finding the perfect lead. I always have this, life is easy when the timing is perfect. And so you had said kind of my story earlier about in 2011, we had bought 66 houses in that year. And I said, what is a generic, stereotypical story about these people? What is the similarity between all of these people? And we came up with this story that I still use to this day. Dad passed away 8 years ago. Mom's been piddling around the house doing the best she can. And guess what? She fell again. It's you don't take a healthy mom to senior living. She'd tell me, get the hell out of here if I told my mom we're going to senior living this weekend, right? She would say, no way. What happens is mom fell again. She had a hip surgery. She goes to rehab for 3 weeks, and rehab goes, hey, sons of mom, she can't move back home. She needs 24-hour care. And now if me and you were brothers, we're like, what? It's like thrust upon us. And so it's like this scramble, crisis mode, crazy logistics. And so it's more than just, do we want to buy the house? Yeah, of course we want to buy the house, but you are there as a solution for this problem, because yeah, I always say sometimes I see like the weight get lifted off the adult children's shoulders because they are scrambling to figure this out. And we're throwing life vests to drowning people.
It's so true, man. And, as I've gotten more, in years with doing this business, it's really truly about helping people. And, we do stuff where we help people in tax delinquency. We help people with this same strategy that you are. You're obviously doing a lot more than we are. But it's like, at the end of the day, are you helping somebody? And in this particular case, you're truly helping somebody, because if listeners that are on right now, if you don't understand, with Medicaid, Medicare, if mom has this house and it's sitting there, they're not going to qualify. They need to have those funds gone within a certain period of time in order for them to qualify for any type of help from Medicaid and Medicare. It's kind of goofy, but that's what happens. Because if they realize, oh, well, Joanne's got this house, it's free and clear, and according to the tax assessor, it's worth $200,000. Well, you need to sell that house before we're going to help you out, and all of the funds have to be gone before we even consider helping you.
That's right.
It's crazy with how that happens, but how do you approach these senior living facilities?
Well, if you think you're just going to walk right in and put your hand out and start talking to people, you're going to get kicked out on your ass because they're super busy. They're putting out 140 fires a day of 140 families that they're helping. There's ways to connect with them that I teach that are definitely not just walking in and trying to figure it out on the fly. These are very serious companies. They're very insulated. Yeah. The senior living community is. As investors, even that word investor looks at as a negative word on the surface for them. So I teach you how to show them what your value is and why. And as soon as you unlock that, then you become their best friend because you help them with their big problems. And so you had talked about earlier this house being worth $200,000, and now they can't apply, or they're not. They don't qualify for Medicaid. The strategy that I talk about is that senior living is it's a very American problem. And what I mean by that is in China and India, there aren't senior living communities. It's very much an American thing for us to put our seniors into senior living. And the reason why I bring that up is that they want you to be destitute before Medicaid kicks in, right? And so when Americans, these adult children bring mom, and when I say adult children, we're talking about 60-year-olds helping 80-year-olds, right? So these adult children are in their 60s. There's a lot of guilt of, we can't take care of mom anymore. She's going to go into a community, right? Yeah. There's guilt there. So what do we do as Americans to get rid of that guilt? We put mom in the most expensive place that we can find, right? And so in Missouri, the average there's private pay and then there's Medicaid communities, Jason, right? There's two different ones. Right. And they're very, very different.
Very different.
The guilt side of us, we want to put mom in the best, right? So if they sell the house right away and they can pay 1 year of private pay, a lot of these communities will let mom stay there post 1 year after that $200,000 is gone and live out the rest of her days in that better community. So you better believe what we do is super important for the family and the mom to get the best care, even if it's just to make themselves feel better that they put mom in the most expensive one.
Right.
So that's a big deal. I mean, to do that. That house, some Americans have a lot of money, but most Americans don't, and all their equity is tied up in that house.
It's true, man. That's what happened, because a lot of these folks are older and they've been in the same house. They were probably the first owner of most of these houses. And they paid off the house decades ago.
Yep.
And, they've got this. And, most of the people back in that day when they would buy a house, either be in the 50s or 60s, they would look at that as being, okay, well, when we get to the age of where we're going to retire, this house is going to be free and clear. We'll sell it. And we'll be able to go someplace like Florida or Arizona and, live out the rest of our lives. Unfortunately, illnesses happen, diseases happen, and sometimes plans go down a totally different path.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a really great opportunity for you to step in and help somebody. And once you show the elder care advisor or the consultant at the individual that really kind of handles the finances for these folks, why don't you tell us what happens when you close on maybe one or two of these?
They become your ally. Once you show them that you can solve this problem for them in a quicker manner, it makes them more profitable as a community. So when you look at a senior living community, as if it's a apartment building, there's occupancy like in an apartment building, just like in senior living. These customers, these tenants, only live about 2.5 years is the average length of stay. So anything we can do as investors on the front end to make that be sped up makes them more profitable with the same customers they already have. Because there's a giant issue of the front end of getting that house's equity unlocked. So you help the senior living community to be more profitable with the clients they already have.
That's exactly right. That number's pretty accurate up here as well, as far as length of stay. And
that was the national average that I gave. It's 2.5 years is the national average.
Yeah, and that's, in my opinion, that's short. So they have quite a bit.
And so if you look at 280 units and everyone's passing away or moving on after 2.5 years, they're turning over all the time. And so every time you see a crane in the sky building a new senior living, that's our opportunity, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And, with that, when you're also talking to individuals too, like if you want to find out other people that might have relationships, is people that are with hospice and they go around to these facilities and they're unfortunately having to give the bad news. Because when we found out that my mother-in-law was approved for hospice, we were like, no way, she still has like 2 years left. And for most people that don't understand, hospice normally approves somebody when they know that person's probably going to be gone within 6 months. Yep.
6 months.
Yep. So, those people know a lot of these individuals at the senior living facility. So what we did is, my mother-in-law, I think, was there for about a year. And then we took her back home. And we thought, hey, she's going to be here for at least another year. I was thinking at least 2 years. But yeah, she was gone within 3 months. Sometimes you just don't know that. Obviously we don't have control over that.
No.
That stuff just happens, and it's unfortunate, and we're able to help out. So why don't you talk to us about, some of the things that I know you kind of teach this. So if you wouldn't mind maybe sharing like one thing or two things, like what's your best strategy? Do you call them first, or like do you call them and then set up a meeting, or what's kind of like the thing that you normally do that some of our listeners would find helpful?
So there's stakeholders in the industry. There's people that are placement agents. A placement agent is similar to a real estate agent, but for the senior living world. So you know how you said your experience with, was it your mother-in-law, Jason?
Yeah.
None of us are prepared for that. There's no book that you can read that says, oh, this is exactly how this is going to go down.
Right.
And so when you find out mom needs to go in for care, you're scrambling to find help. And so there's placement. So in my teachings with Mom's House, there's about 10 different people that are the right people to have conversations with. And every single one of them couldn't be more different than the next. A social worker is the bleeding heart and the proprietor is the capitalist, right? And then everyone in between, you approach them differently. And no, I definitely do not walk in and just shake hands with people. It does not work that way. And so I network in the community. You know how with real estate, you could go to a networking event almost every single day. In senior living, it's very similar. But if you don't know how to talk the right way, you will alienate yourself right away. And so since 2011, my bravado just got me through all of this to build relationships. But what I teach people is not how to not put their foot in their mouth by starting to get started in this industry. Because very quickly, let's just pick one. As soon as you say nursing home, they're going to know you're not really in the community. They're not called nursing homes anymore, right? Right. It's old school to call it nursing home. They're not called, we call it a facility. No, you shouldn't do that. The facility makes people think of prison. They call them communities, right? What I teach is how to network with these people the right way to get the door to unlock, to get their brain to unlock, that you're there to help them with everybody cares about what's in it for me, right? And so the different stakeholders, you approach them all differently. And I was thinking about something you said earlier about, like a piece of advice for these people. Do you want to know how big this market is? If you look at probate deals, probate is someone that probably made it to the end of their life in their house, and now they have this house, and so me and you are brothers. We care now about what's in it for us, right? Because we're going to inherit that money.
Right.
But 7 out of 10 people, 7 out of 10 over the age of 65 will live in some sort of assisted living before they pass away. So Jason, the market is 70% going to need to sell their house before they pass away. And remember how and by the way, I love these leads that were, the probate leads. I love them, but let me tell you how much better the senior living leads are, is that if mom passed away, now me and you care about what's in it for us. When mom moves into senior living, and you know how you said Medicaid's going to take all your money anyway, the family doesn't give a crap if it sells for 74 grand or 82 grand or 95 grand, because all of that money is going to mom's care.
Right.
So if me and you as brothers battle to get an extra 12 grand out of mom's house, all we did was help the state of pick a state. We helped that state to not have to pay Medicaid that much quicker, right? So the family's interest isn't normal that we deal with every other type of real estate lead. The family's interest is mom's care. Who's going to turn this house into cash? What are we going to do with this stuff? And if you get in that peanut butter cup, right, of timing, Jason, I've been keeping this a secret for a reason. They are the best leads I've ever had, in my 21-year career.
Yeah, I would agree with you, man. Very, I would say virtually untapped. Once you
Tell now. We're doing it right now, Jason. Right now, 2020, new decade. Let's get it,
Absolutely, man.
And I hate the word wave, by the way. This is not a wave. This is not a wave. Waves crash. I always say, as long as people get old in your town, this will be a thing.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. And, one of the things that we've been able to do too with probates and trusts and too, because a lot of people think, hey, it's probate, right? We just have probate, but that's just one part when somebody passes. There's trusts, and that's kind of like a big part as well that people keep missing out on, is the people that go network with these attorneys, because if somebody's working with a trust, it's not going to be on public notice like a probate.
That's right.
And one of the things I wanted to bring up with probate, which is also very similar to your strategy, is some of the personal property that's there in the house. You can negotiate to buy the personal property too. Have you been able to find any gems as far as some of the personal property being behind?
Every day. I have a big personality, and I like tchotchke items that make me laugh, of the more adult variety, and people are weird and funny, and so I find funny things every day. The best thing I ever found as a sports fan, I found a guy that had 1 million baseball cards, old baseball cards, and hundreds of thousands of dollars of memorabilia.
Wow.
I've seen collections of every sort. You had mentioned hoarders before. If you like a hoarder, I call them aggressive collectors. It's a good name to call it. It's a nice way to, it's a nice way to call them a hoarder, right? Yes. And so my wife would kill me if I brought something home from every house that I see. So I try very hard to be in the house business, not the stuff business.
Yeah.
But from treasures down to trash, I have someone that I trust in my network that helps that family turn that back into cash. It's really hard to get rid of. The average size house is 2,000 square feet and all that stuff in the house, and now they're moving to a 12 by 12 bedroom that's 144 square feet. It's really hard to get rid of that stuff to the kids and the grandkids a lot of times, because the grandkids would much rather go to IKEA and buy something trendy and cheap than use mom's old mid-century furniture, right? Or so, and then we're the first generation now. I'm 41 that we're saying no to our parents on grandma's fine china. Like when we have parties at our house, we're using paper plates and we're throwing it away, and the fine china can't go in the dishwasher. And we're just like, I don't even have a hutch. Like what the hell am I going to do with fine china? Like, so like the world's changing, and there's like a lot of animosity and, for getting rid of now, like tools and guns and all that stuff sells in 2 seconds, right? Old jewelry, that sells easy. Oh, yeah. But I find myself just being a quarterback for this family in their position, where here's the stuff guy, I'm the house guy, here's the placement agent, like all these things, the timing is all happening together. And when you get in behind the curtain with them, now you're part of that conversation. And that's why, with momshouse.com, it's like lovingly, even if dad is the one that's still alive, the families call it, what are we going to do with mom's house?
It's true.
It's true. It's what the community say, hey, what are you going to do with mom's house? It's always like a nice warm hug of, the mom is the person that ran the home, right? And so it's just a loving way to refer to it. Plus I like simple domain names. So that's how that name came up.
I like that. So it's momshouse.com.
Momshouse.com.
That's a good domain name. It's short and it's got, that's a good domain name.
It is. I know. And I figured if a 7-year-old can spell it, it's probably a pretty good domain name,
I like that, man. So as of right now within your business, is this all that you're focusing on in your business?
It is. And so I'm part of a company that buys a few hundred houses a year, and this is my main lead source that I work. I sit through the meetings where we go over what direct mail costs, what Facebook costs, what pay-per-click costs. I know the cost of a lead, right? They're very expensive. And the senior living leads, when you build the right network of these people and you get in their trust circle, it's like a rolling harvest of the best leads you've ever had. And that's what I'm teaching. I want people to go out and do it the right way without the bumps and bruises that I've had since 2011 to learn the business.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. No, that's great. So for people that want to find more information about you and what you're doing, what is it, momshouse.com?
Yes, sir. Momshouse.com, and fill out the form. Let's talk about it. I would say that if you have the right attitude, it might be good for a person starting off, but really what I'm designed for is a company that like in my training, I don't teach you how to write a contract, right? That's the last thing I'm going to do. This is for up and running companies with integrity that know they're the best in their city, that actually care about other people. If you are that person, hit up on the form. Okay.
I like that, man. I like that. So momshouse.com, you can find out more about Phillip and everything that he's doing. It's incredible. It's really rewarding. You're helping people, and it's a good feel thing that you always want to try and strive for as a business owner. So with that being said, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
No, I like what you said. I get hugs from people all the time because I'm helping them in this emotional time when they don't know what to do. And the money, we already know there's a lot of money in real estate, right? We don't need to talk about it. Yes, tons of money is in real estate, but you're helping these families at the right time, and it feels good, and you make a great living.
You absolutely do, man. Yeah, you really, really do. So head on over, check out momshouse.com. Definitely check it out if you're a little bit more of an experienced individual that doesn't need the hand-holding with filling out contracts and all that kind of stuff. And what I would also recommend is not flipping out over probates. All of the profits are going toward charity on this one at Amazon. So flipping out over probates.com takes you straight to Amazon. The book's only $21.95. It's 174 pages, and it's jam-packed with just great information. We do touch on the strategy that we had Phillip on today, but not in super long detail. We do talk about it. We do give you steps that you can do, but Phillip's got some longer detailed steps. And I don't want to say so much longer, but you could definitely get to where you want to within a short period of time. So definitely check out momshouse.com. If you have any questions for us, support at jasonluchese.com. Again, that's SUPPORT at JASONLUCCHESI.com. Phillip, thanks for joining us on today's show, man. You have a blessed day, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye now.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you.